Have you ever paused to consider that the mind in which you hold a clear, vibrant picture of your own wholeness actually begins to rearrange every circumstance around you to support that vision? In the moment you choose to treat your imagination not as a mere escape, but as the very workshop of your personal reality, you step into a creative partnership with your deepest self. This first keynote invites you to embrace imagination as the architect of self-sufficiency, recognizing that every detail you vividly conjure with feeling becomes an instruction to the silent, powerful realm within you. The imagination is not an idle realm of fanciful daydreams. It is the sovereign command center of your existence. When you entertain a thought with vivid sensory detail, seeing the contours of your own confidence, hearing the tone of your inner voice, feeling the warmth of self-approval, you impress that scenario upon your subconscious mind. Here, beyond the reach of critical doubt, your assumed reality takes root, germinates, and draws into form the exact conditions necessary to make that inner picture your outer truth. By treating imagination as your tool of creation, you shift from passive receiver of life's events to active shaper of your experiences. To train your imagination as an architect, begin by setting aside a few minutes each day to sit quietly and build a precise inner scene. Picture yourself standing tall in a field of your own making, every sense alive to the textures, the light and the sound of an environment shaped by your confidence. Observe the posture of your body, the rhythm of your breath, the steady beat of a heart that knows it is enough. Hold that vision until it seems more real than anything you have encountered today. In doing so, you send a clear blueprint to your subconscious. This is the state to manifest. As you build your inner workshop, include specific sensory elements. Imagine the crispness of the air as if it carries your certainty, or the glow of sunlight that reflects the warmth of your self-approval. Perhaps there is a sound, or your own laughter, or the hush of a breeze that signifies to the mind that this scene is alive and thriving. The more detailed and emotionally charged your visualization, the stronger the impression upon the subconscious. It does not discern between a memory and an imagination vividly experienced. It simply acts upon the most dominant signal it receives. Feeling is the secret ingredient in this process. Without an emotional charge, a mere picture remains inert, like an architectural draft without materials. But when you infuse your visualization with gratitude for your inherent worth, with excitement for the possibilities before you, or even with the soothing calm of self-acceptance, you provide the energy that animates your imagined blueprint. The subconscious, which governs the subtle forces that align opportunities and people, responds to that emotional vibration by orchestrating real-world feedback that mirrors the state you nurtured in silence. Over time, as you consistently return to your inner workshop and reinforce the blueprint of self-sufficiency, you will notice subtle shifts in your outward life. Circumstances that once seemed random begin to align, a chance compliment from a stranger, an unexpected opportunity to shine, or a supportive word from someone you admire. These are not coincidences, but the unfolding of an internal directive given long ago in the fertile soil of imagination. Each new confirmation serves as proof to your conscious mind that your inner reality is indeed crafting your outer experience. Of course, resistance may arise. A voice of doubt may whisper that this is mere wishful thinking, or past disappointments may tug you back into old patterns of seeking validation from others. When these thoughts appear, remind yourself that the subconscious mind does not inherit your doubts unless you give them power through attention. Gently pivot your focus back to the detailed scene of your own enoughness, reigniting the emotional intensity that first gave that vision life. Persistence in this practice is the key that unlocks the door to genuine self-sufficiency. To deepen this partnership with your creative faculty, integrate simple rituals into your day. Perhaps begin each morning by rehearsing a brief 2-minute visualization of stepping into situations fully confident, or end each evening by replaying a moment of self-appreciation before sleep. These micro moments of intentional imagination act like architectural check-ins, ensuring that your subconscious remains aligned with the blueprint of wholeness you design. Over time, you find that even without formal practice, your mind naturally reverts to scenes that affirm your self-sufficiency. In embracing imagination as the architect of self-sufficiency, you claim the power to redefine your relationship with the world. No longer is your peace contingent on another's words or actions. Instead, it emerges from the inner construction you maintain in stillness. By consistently picturing yourself as complete, needing no external endorsement, you train your mind to seek evidence of your own wholeness. In that unwavering faith, you discover that self-sufficiency is not a distant ideal, but a living reality, sculpted moment by moment in the workshop of your imagination. Have you ever noticed how the silent strings of your thoughts orchestrate the melody of your life, guiding every decision, shaping every emotion, and ultimately determining the quality of your experience? In the unseen theater of your mind, every word you speak to yourself, whether whispered doubt or bold affirmation, sets the stage for the reality you encounter. When you guard your internal dialogue with the same vigilance you would a precious treasure, you claim authority over your world. To master this vital keynote, begin by understanding that each phrase you repeat, each inner debate you entertain, becomes the script your subconscious follows with unwavering literalness. Consider for a moment the simple statement, "I'm not good enough." When that thought arises, it carries with it a weight that compresses your confidence, dims your sense of possibility, and signals to every cell in your being that you are unworthy. The subconscious mind, which holds no capacity for irony or context, receives that message as a direct command. It then orchestrates circumstances, conversations left unspoken, doors that remain closed, opportunities that never materialize, to faithfully mirror the assumption of inadequacy. In contrast, when you cultivate an inner discourse of encouragement, "I am capable, I deserve joy, I am enough," you send a clarion call to the unseen mechanisms of creation, directing them to align your outer world with the truth you assert within. Awareness is the first guardrail. Throughout your day, pause periodically to scan your thoughts. Notice the tone of your inner voice. Is it compassionate and uplifting, or critical and dismissive? By simply observing without judgment, you create a space in which choice replaces habit. In that gap, you can choose which words to accept and which to reject. Over time, this practice transforms the unconscious chatter into a conscious dialogue, empowering you to intercept self-defeating patterns before they take root. Once you have cultivated awareness, the next step is deliberate substitution. For every negative or limiting thought you catch, replace it immediately with an empowering alternative. If you find yourself thinking, "They won't appreciate me," correct it gently but firmly to, "I appreciate myself," and that appreciation radiates outward. Speak the new phrase aloud if possible. The vocalization bridges the gap between mind and body, reinforcing the command. The more you practice this act of mental editing, the more the subconscious will come to expect affirmations as its primary input, and it will begin to seek out experiences that validate your chosen narrative. Imagery enhances the process. Words alone can feel abstract until you pair them with vivid mental pictures. When you affirm, "I am worthy of success," visualize a scene in which you move confidently through a situation that once intimidated you, a meeting, a performance, a first date. Feeling relaxed, competent, and fully at ease. The subconscious responds to emotions as fuel. The stronger the feeling you attach to your words, the faster it works to manifest corresponding conditions. Emotions also act as an internal barometer. Notice how your body reacts to different thoughts. Do you feel light and energized when you encourage yourself, or contracted and heavy when you criticize? Use these sensations as feedback. Whenever you feel contraction, recognize that you are off course. When you feel expansion, you are aligned with your chosen assumption. The somatic awareness guides you to refine your mental vocabulary, favoring phrases that evoke openness, confidence, and peace. To sustain the practice, develop simple rituals. Begin each morning by speaking a series of self-affirmations while standing before a mirror. Look deeply into your own eyes and say, "I am enough," allowing the words to reverberate through your chest. At midday, take a brief break to jot down any negative thoughts that have arisen and consciously rewrite them in your journal as positive statements. In the evening, review your successes, no matter how small, and express gratitude for them, reinforcing the neural pathways associated with positive self-diagnosis. Persistence is key. The mind is accustomed to default patterns. Changing the script requires consistent effort. There will be days when old voices rise and threaten to drown out your new narrative. When that happens, treat yourself with compassion rather than judgment. Acknowledge the slip. Forgive yourself swiftly and return to the practice of mindful speech. Each interruption offers an opportunity to strengthen your guard and deepen your commitment to self-empowerment. As you honor this inner discipline, you will notice a subtle shift in your environment. Conversations become more fluid as you bring confident energy into your interactions. Tasks that once felt daunting become manageable because your mind is no longer undermining you with doubt. Relationships begin to transform as you project the stability that comes from self-assured dialogue, inviting others to mirror the respect and kindness you cultivate within. In this way, guarding your internal conversation not only reshapes your personal reality, but radiates outward, elevating every dimension of your life. By treating your inner speech as the foundation of your existence, you step into the role of both author and actor in your own story. No longer passive observers, you become active participants in the creative process, choosing each word with intention and each thought with care. The unseen machinery of your being responds unfailingly to these instructions, aligning opportunities, relationships, and resources to validate the narrative you maintain. In this educational journey of self-mastery, the simple act of guarding your dialogue becomes a profound practice in conscious creation, transforming the quiet moments of thought into the grand tapestry of lived experience. What would it feel like to walk through your day with the full conviction that your desire already exists, and to discover that the world around you begins to arrange itself in harmony with that knowing? In the moment you choose to live in the end, you stop waiting for proof and start embodying the reality you wish to experience. This practice calls you to treat your present self as though every goal has been fulfilled, infusing each thought, gesture, and choice with the certainty of arrival. When you embrace this state, you step out of the shadow of expectation and into the radiance of assumed completion. To begin, select one specific outcome you long for, perhaps a flourishing career, a creative breakthrough, or a deep sense of self-worth. Close your eyes and craft a detailed inner theater. See the setting, observe the faces around you, notice the light and color that define the scene. Hear the ambient sounds, the gentle murmur of congratulations, the crisp click of recognition, or the soft rustle of confident movement. Feel the textures beneath your fingertips, the weight of a symbolic object that signifies achievement, and even the subtle fragrance that whispers of success. Include olfactory and tactile details, perhaps the aroma of fresh paper, or the soft rustle of a fabric that signifies comfort and prestige. The richer your sensory menu, the more compelling the directive becomes for the silent forces within. As you hold this vivid picture, allow an emotional current of gratitude and joy to surge through you. Breathe deeply, tasting the sweetness of fulfillment in each inhalation. You may find tears of joy arising unbidden, or a spontaneous smile that lights your face. These are indicators that your feelings are authentically aligning with the state you have claimed. Emotions serve as the spark that ignites the creative engine of your subconscious. Without this emotional fuel, your mental blueprint remains a static diagram. With feeling, it transforms into a living design that magnetizes circumstances to match your vision. Once immersed in the inner scene, begin to act from that assumed end. Notice how your posture shifts when you know you have arrived. Shoulders settle into ease, spine straightens in quiet confidence, and breath flows with a calm strength. Let your speech tempo and intonation reflect someone at ease with success. Let each word carry the weight of your assumed reality. Approach tasks with the composure of an achiever. For example, if you imagine standing before an audience applauding, practice speaking to a small group as though you are already the expert you envision. These outward gestures reinforce the inner assumption, forging a seamless alignment between thought, emotion, and action. Resistance may surface in the form of inner doubt or external contradiction. You might receive a delayed email, a curt response, or an unexpected obstacle. When this happens, gently return your focus to the end state you have constructed. Replay the scene with renewed clarity, intensifying the emotional charge until it eclipses any wavering thoughts. Each recommitment is like repairing a broken link in a chain. Even one renewed connection strengthens the entire structure of your inner reality. Remember that outer events are but reflections of your inner stance. Maintain the image of fulfillment, and the circumstances will follow. Create simple rituals to embed this practice into your daily rhythm. In the morning before rising, lie still and mentally step into your imagined environment. Feel the exhilaration of arrival as you stretch and open your eyes. During the day, use brief pauses, waiting at a light or during a break, to revisit a key detail of your scene, reinforcing it like a mental bookmark. In the evening, before sleep, replay the entire sequence with gratitude, thanking the unseen forces for bringing your assumption into being. Consider supplementing these rituals with a symbolic object, a token that embodies your goal, held or gazed upon during visualization, anchoring your imagination more firmly to the present moment. As you persist, subtle confirmations will begin to appear. A chance conversation that opens a door, a timely suggestion from a colleague, or an inner nudge guiding you toward the right action, all signal that your inner work is bearing fruit. Acknowledging these confirmations in writing gives them a permanent home, reminding you of your creative power whenever you revisit the record. Each note of evidence strengthens your conviction, making it easier to sustain the assumed state and accelerating the manifestation process. Over time, living in the end transcends technique and becomes your natural way of being. You no longer vacillate between hope and disappointment. Instead, you carry a steady undercurrent of fulfillment that informs every choice. Relationships, opportunities, and resources begin to gravitate toward you, drawn by the frequency of your assumed reality. In this flow, you experience a profound sense of autonomy. Your inner world governs your outer circumstances, and you move through life as the conscious architect of your experience. This method is not fanciful wishful thinking, but a disciplined approach to conscious creation. By adopting the end state now, complete with sensory detail, emotional intensity, and daily reinforcement, you align the hidden faculties of your mind with the vision you hold. The moment you decide to live in the end, you step into the realm where imagination and fact merge, and you discover that your reality is nothing more than the reflection of your deepest belief. Have you ever noticed how a single well-placed emotion can breathe life into even the simplest thought, turning a passing idea into a vivid reality? When you infuse your vision with feeling, you charge it with magnetic force, an energy that the mind's deeper layers cannot ignore. This is the secret that elevates mere imagination into a living, unfolding experience. Emotion is the alchemy that transforms abstract concepts into concrete events. Imagine for a moment that you are sketching a design for your ideal life. Without emotion, it remains an outline on paper, neat, precise, but lifeless. Now picture yourself coloring that design with the rich hues of excitement, gratitude, and joy. Immediately the lines seem to glow, the shapes gain substance, and the very idea you held so lightly takes on a weight of reality. The subconscious mind, which governs the unseen currents that move thought into form, responds not to words alone, but to the intensity of feeling you attach to those words. In this way, emotion becomes the wind in the sails of your inner ship, propelling you steadily toward the shores of your desire. To harness this power, begin by choosing emotions that embody the end you seek. If your goal is greater self-reliance, call up the warmth of self-respect. If you aim for financial flow, evoke the bubbling excitement of abundance. Don't settle for neutral or mild interest. Reach for emotions so vivid that they set your heart racing or bring tears of gratitude to your eyes. When you practice this, the subconscious mind takes your emotional state as the blueprint for constructing matching circumstances. What you feel most intensely, it arranges your outer world to mirror. Engage all your senses in the process. As you close your eyes and step into your inner theater, see the scene as though it is unfolding before you now, the way light dances across surfaces, the colors that invigorate, the subtle movements of air around you. Hear the soundtrack of success, laughter, applause, or the quiet hum of contentment. Feel textures beneath your fingertips, the smooth finish of a document bearing your signature, the fabric of clothing that reflects your confidence. Even taste and scent can be summoned, the aroma of fresh opportunity, the tangy sweetness of victory. By weaving these sensory threads together, you wrap your vision in a cloak of authenticity that the deeper mind cannot distinguish from real experience. Emotion also serves as a guide, alerting you to whether your mental picture is aligned with your true desire. Notice how your body reacts as you visualize. Does your chest expand with warmth, or do you feel a subtle tension of disbelief? Whenever you encounter resistance, a twitch of discomfort or a wisp of doubt, pause and adjust. Perhaps the scene needs brighter lighting, a more joyful soundtrack, or a gentler pace. Tinker with details until the feeling returns to a steady flow of positive energy. In this way, emotion not only powers your vision, but also refines it, honing it into a clearer, stronger directive for the subconscious. Integrating emotional visualization into your daily routine need not be time-consuming. Even 2 or 3 minutes of heartfelt immersion can produce lasting effects. You might start each morning by taking 3 deep breaths and recalling a moment when you felt the very emotion you wish to cultivate. Perhaps the pride of accomplishment or the serenity of self-acceptance. Let that feeling blossom until it fills your torso, then carry it forward as you begin your day. During brief pauses, waiting for water to boil, standing in line, or walking between tasks, reconnect with that inner spark. A quick recharging of emotional energy keeps your mind's blueprint fresh and active. Gratitude is a particularly potent emotion for manifesting self-sufficiency. When you thank yourself for your strength, when you honor even the smallest victories, you create a vibration of self-support that reverberates through every cell. This practice rewires old patterns of dependency by planting the seeds of worthiness in the fertile soil of appreciation. Each thank you to your own efforts cements the conviction that you are at all times enough. In moments of doubt, repeat gratitude aloud. Feel the vibration in your voice. Listen to its resonance in the silence. And let your body absorb the reminder that you deserve your own kindness above all. Resistance and emotional blocks will arise. Memories of past failures, fears of judgment, or lingering social conditioning can dampen your inner fire. When this happens, don't fight the resistance as an enemy. Treat it as a signal. Trace it back to its source and visualize rewriting that scene with the feeling you now choose. Perhaps you revisit a moment of criticism and imagine yourself responding with calm assurance, feeling the pride that comes from trusting your own voice. By revising these mental tapes with a charged emotion, you disarm old patterns and clear the way for new, uplifting experiences to take root. As you persist in this practice, notice how your outer world begins to echo your emotional state. Conversations shift in tone, opportunities appear that feel naturally aligned with your inner joy, and situations resolve with surprising ease. These are the confirmations that your emotion-laden vision is in the process of physical manifestation. Each alignment fuels your confidence, making it simpler to sustain the practice and to deepen the emotional richness of your inner creation. Ultimately, infusing your vision with feeling is not a one-time trick, but a lifelong approach to conscious living. It turns every aspiration into a felt reality, bridges the gap between imagination and experience, and empowers you to become the deliberate architect of your own life. When you commit to feeling as though your goal is already attained, you set in motion the subtle, powerful forces that sculpt your world to match the brilliance of your imagined state. In this educational journey of emotional mastery, you learn that the heart truly is the gateway through which ideas become reality, and that the degree to which you feel your vision determines the speed and precision of its unfolding. Have you ever found yourself haunted by a memory of disappointment, a conversation that went awry, an opportunity lost, or a moment when someone's words cut deeper than you expected and felt its echo shape your confidence long after the event is past? In those silent replays, you give old wounds power over your present reality. Yet what if you could revisit those scenes in your imagination and alter their endings to serve your highest good? By consciously revising past disappointments, you transform them from anchors that hold you back into stepping stones that propel you forward. Woo! Begin by selecting a single memory that still stirs discomfort. Perhaps it was a moment of rejection, a letter of decline, a criticism that bruised your spirit, or a friendship that dissolved without explanation. Close your eyes and allow that scene to unfold on the inner screen, exactly as you first experienced it. The words spoken, the expressions on faces, the ambient sounds, and the weight of emotion pressing on you. Notice every small detail, the color of the room, the tone of voice, even the shift in your posture. By fully acknowledging the original event, you create a clear starting point for transformation. Next, gently pause the mental replay at the moment when you felt most powerless. In that suspended frame, lean into the creative power of your imagination. Rewrite what happens after that moment. Envision yourself responding with calm assurance rather than shrinking in doubt. Picture yourself standing tall, speaking your truth with clarity, or gracefully letting go of what no longer serves your growth. See the faces around you soften in understanding, or turn away as you release the need for approval. Let your inner eye craft a scenario in which your dignity and worth remain intact, regardless of external reaction. As you replay this new version, layer in sensory richness to anchor the revision in your subconscious. Feel the firmness of the ground beneath your feet. Hear the gentle cadence of your own voice resonating with quiet confidence. Sense the warmth of self-respect blooming in your chest. Perhaps there is a scent, a fragrance of fresh air or blooming flowers. That symbolizes renewal. Engage every sense so that this revised memory feels more vibrant and substantial than the original. The subconscious mind responds most readily to experiences that are vivid and emotionally charged. Emotion is the linchpin of this process. Without feeling, your revision remains a mental exercise. With emotion, it becomes a transformative command. Allow yourself to feel relief as the burden lifts from your shoulders, gratitude for the strength you demonstrate, and pride in the new ending you create. Let tears of release flow if they arise, or notice the soft smile that spreads across your face. These emotional markers signal to your deeper self that the revised scene is genuine and worthy of manifestation. To solidify the change, repeat the revised scene regularly. You might choose a quiet moment each morning to walk through the memory, re-experiencing it with your empowered response. In moments of idle waiting, such as standing in line or before drifting to sleep, replay the scene like a cherished film. With each repetition, the new narrative grows stronger, the old pattern loses its grip, and your subconscious begins to align your outer experiences with your revised understanding. Resistance can surface. Whispers of doubt or fleeting images of the original disappointment may intrude. When this happens, greet the resistance without judgment and gently guide your focus back to the revision. Remind yourself that you are the director of your inner world and that the old script no longer serves you. Reinforce the new ending with even greater clarity and emotion. Over time, these moments of redirection strengthen your control over your inner cinema, making revision second nature. As you persist in revising past disappointments, you'll notice subtle shifts rippling through your life. Conversations that once triggered old anxieties now pass without disturbance. Opportunities you once feared to pursue now feel inviting, and your confidence in handling challenges deepens. The world outside remains unchanged at first, yet your perception transforms. You no longer interpret events through the lens of past hurts, but through the clarity of your empowered revision. In this way, the simple act of rewriting yesterday becomes the foundation for a more resilient, self-assured tomorrow. The sixth keynote urges us to practice present moment mastery. It's about recognizing when we slip into the habit of waiting for something external, like a text, invitation, or compliment, and shifting our focus back to the present. This keynote encourages awareness of our reliance on future events for validation and happiness. It's a reminder to breathe and reconnect with the present moment, seeing it as full and complete on its own, regardless of external circumstance. By practicing this mastery, we align ourselves more with the present, cultivating peace in the now. Have you ever found yourself drifting away from this very moment, lost in thoughts about the future or revisiting the past? Mastery over the present moment means fully inhabiting this now, being aware of what's happening around you and focusing your energy on what is happening right now. The practice invites us to become aware when we slip into expectation, waiting for answers, people, or situations. When that happens, we can pause, take a deep breath, and remind ourselves that everything we need is within this present moment. John, have you ever noticed how your mind can wander ahead, rehearsing conversations that haven't happened, or drift back to moments you wish you'd handled differently, only to discover that you've missed the richness of the present moment? In the silent theater of life, each unfolding second holds the potential for renewal, creativity, and inner peace. Yet we often surrender that treasure to the tyranny of expectation. When you master the art of present moment awareness, you reclaim authority over your experience. Instead of living as a passenger carried by the currents of tomorrow's hopes or yesterday's regrets, you become the deliberate pilot, steering through the limitless possibilities of now. By anchoring your consciousness in the present, you dissolve the power of external circumstances to dictate your emotional state, and you cultivate an unshakable sense of inner fulfillment that no outside event can diminish. To practice this mastery, begin by cultivating the simple habit of pausing. In the rush between tasks, a meeting ending, an email sent, a phone call completed, take a conscious breath. Feel the cool air enter your nostrils. Notice the gentle expansion of your chest, and release the exhale slowly, imagining tension flowing out with it. This brief interlude, no longer than a few seconds, serves as a reset button for your nervous system, interrupting habitual patterns of anxiety or longing. In that pause, remind yourself that this moment is complete in itself. You don't have to wait for validation, praise, or a sign of success to feel whole. The completion you seek is already here, woven into the fabric of your present awareness. Next, sharpen your ability to detect when expectation has crept in. Expectation often disguises itself as simple attention, checking the phone for a message, glancing at the clock to see if someone is late, scanning your inbox for approval. Each of these urges signals a departure from the now into the realm of anticipation. When you catch yourself leaning toward that mental boundary, speak an internal command, here and now. Use this phrase or another that resonates as a gentle guide to bring your mind back down to the ground of immediate experience. With practice, this cue becomes an automatic redirect, transforming moments of restlessness into opportunities for deep presence. Once you have paused and signaled your mind to return, enrich your awareness by tuning into an inner resource. This may be the memory of a moment when you felt radiant joy, the sense of calm that arises from focused purpose, or the simple heartbeat of being alive. Picture, for instance, the laughter you shared with a friend, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, or the feeling of creative flow as you worked on a passion project. Allow the sensory details, colors, sounds, textures to fill your awareness. In effect, you are creating an inner sanctuary, a pocket of peace within your mind that serves as a refuge from external pressures. By cultivating this inner resource repeatedly, you train your subconscious to recognize the present moment as the primary source of satisfaction. Integrating present moment mastery into daily life need not be cumbersome. Use everyday activities as reminders. While brewing your morning coffee, focus entirely on the process, the aroma of the grounds, the sound of water percolating, the warmth of the mug in your hands. If you find yourself juggling tasks, take micro breath. A single mindful breath before switching from one task to the next, or a moment spent feeling the texture of a pen as you write. Even habitual actions like walking or washing your hands can become practices in presence. Notice the lifting and falling of your foot, the swirl of water across your palms. By weaving these micro-practices into your routine, you gradually recondition your mind to remain anchored in the present, rather than leaping ahead or lagging behind. As you develop this skill, you will observe profound shifts in your capacity to respond rather than react. In conversations, you'll find yourself listening more deeply, attuned to the subtle cadences of another's voice, rather than formulating your next reply. In moments of stress, you'll access a calm that arises from simply being with what is, freeing you to choose actions from a place of composure. Challenges transform from threats to opportunities for mindful engagement. When a difficult email arrives, you can pause, breathe, and craft a response that reflects your best intentions rather than your triggered impulses. In every scenario, present moment mastery becomes the foundation for wise, creative, and compassionate decisions. Over time, this practice cultivates an inner sovereignty that external events cannot erode. You become less swayed by the ebb and flow of praise, criticism, success, or setback. Instead, your sense of enoughness arises from a direct experience of life itself. In each breath, each sensation, each heartbeat, the horizon of your well-being shifts from a distant goal to the immediate reality before you. By training yourself to pause, to redirect expectation, and to draw upon inner resources, you transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. In this way, mastering the present moment is not merely a skill, but a path to sustained empowerment, allowing you to stand firm and radiate confidence in the face of any external circumstance. Have you ever noticed the delicate moment when consciousness begins to loosen its grip and you drift toward the threshold of sleep, caught between waking thought and dream? In that fragile space, your mind's guard is down, and the seeds you plant there grow with astonishing speed. Imagine carrying a single luminous intention into that twilight. What if your deepest desire could be sown into the fertile soil of your subconscious, just as you surrender to slumber? Begin each evening by creating a simple ritual that signals to your inner self that something sacred is about to take place. Choose a calm setting, perhaps beside your bed or on a comfortable chair, where you won't be disturbed. Dim the lights or light a single candle. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. As you exhale, let go of any tension or leftover thoughts from the day. Feel your body soften and your mind grow still, open and receptive like a quiet pond at dawn. Next, hold in your awareness the precise state you wish to realize. It might be the feeling of unshakable self-confidence, the clarity of creative flow, or the deep solace of inner peace. Don't merely picture a goal. Focus on the emotional signature of that goal as if it is already yours. Feel the warmth of self-assurance blossoming in your chest, the gentle hum of inspiration coursing through your veins, or the serene calm that washes over you like a soft wave. Let that feeling fill you completely, as if you are already living from the end. As you drift towards sleep, repeat to yourself a concise phrase or affirmation that encapsulates this feeling. Keep it brief, a sentence no longer than 8 words, to prevent mental chatter from resurfacing. Your subconscious mind responds most readily to clear, focused instructions. For example, if you seek resilience, you might repeat, "I rest in unwavering inner strength." If you crave creative insight, you might say, "My mind dreams solutions into existence." As each night passes, your repeated phrase becomes a gentle command that the deeper mind cannot resist. Engage your senses to anchor the impression more firmly. Imagine the texture of a surface that represents your goal, perhaps the smooth grain of a wooden desk where your inspired writing flows, or the soft fabric of a garment that drapes you in confidence. Hear a sound tied to your intention, the steady beat of your own heartbeat, the gentle rustle of leaves in a serene garden, or the quiet applause that honors your accomplishment. Even a faint scent, fresh linen, blooming jasmine, or the crispness of morning air can heighten the sensory reality of your intention. The richer the sensory tapestry, the more persuasive the message you send to the unseen realms of your mind. It's natural for the outer world to bring distractions, an email ping, a stray thought about tomorrow's errands, or a worry that creeps in uninvited. When you sense your attention flickering, gently guide it back with a soft inner command such as, "Return to rest." Don't chastise yourself for drifting. Treat each moment of refocusing as an act of kindness. With each return, you strengthen the neural pathways that favor your intention, forging a direct route from imagination to unconscious acceptance. Over time, you'll notice that your dreams begin to reflect fragments of your intention. Perhaps you'll encounter symbols, a door opening onto a bright horizon, a flowing river, or an object you've chosen as your talisman. Keep a journal by your bedside and record any dream impressions immediately upon waking. Even a single word or sketch can unveil how your subconscious is at work. Reviewing these notes helps you refine your nightly scenes, sharpening the clarity of your intention and deepening the emotional charge you carry into sleep. Consistency is the cornerstone of mastery. The subconscious loves routine. It thrives on repetition. Make your pre-sleep ritual a non-negotiable appointment with yourself. Even on restless nights, take a moment to revisit your phrase and sensory scene, however briefly. In doing so, you honor the creative partnership between your waking focus and your dreaming mind. As days turn into weeks, the unseen machinery of your deeper self aligns more fully with your desires, and the outer world begins to echo the changes you have sown beneath the veil of slumber. Be patient with the process. Manifestation through sleep isn't always instantaneous. Sometimes the subconscious takes its time, weaving subtle shifts in thought patterns, feelings, and opportunities before unveiling visible results. Trust that each night's practice deposits invisible gold into the vault of your psyche. Even if the day seems unchanged at first, know that the groundwork is being laid beneath the surface. Your daily life may soon present small signs, a newfound calm in stressful moments, a fresh idea that emerges fully formed, or a chance encounter that aligns with your intention. Above all, approach this practice with the lightness of curiosity and the warmth of gratitude. Celebrate each step, no matter how small. When you wake, offer thanks for the inner work performed while you slept. A simple, heartfelt "thank you for guiding me toward my goal" reinforces the partnership between your conscious intention and your subconscious collaboration. With persistence, reverence, and a clear, feeling-infused vision held at the threshold of sleep, you transform each night into a laboratory of creation, where dreams and reality converge to bring your deepest aspirations to life. Have you ever noticed how the world seems to conspire to test your convictions just when you feel most certain? You might hold a vision of yourself standing in calm confidence, only to encounter criticism, obstacles, or indifference that feel like cold water splashed across your aspirations. Yet it is precisely in those moments of contradiction that your creative power is forged. When outer circumstances clash with your inner state, you face a choice: yield to evidence of lack or stand firm in the reality you have assumed. By persisting despite apparent setbacks, you send a clear message to your deeper self that nothing external can overturn the command you have issued. Imagine for a moment that your assumption is a seed you have planted in fertile soil. At first, sprouts may not appear for days, weeks, or even months. You might see rocks on the surface, birds pecking around, or footprints trampling the spot. But beneath the earth, the seed is germinating, roots searching for sustenance, stems strengthening in hidden darkness. In the same way, your assumed state develops unseen in the chambers of your mind, even as outer evidence suggests it is not yet alive. When you press your palm to the soil and feel only pebbles, resist the urge to uproot your seed. Nurture it with daily imagination, emotional charge, and unwavering commitment, and trust that the first green shoot will break surface at precisely the right moment. To cultivate this steadfastness, begin by acknowledging the reality of outer contradiction without assigning it power. When a negative email arrives, a friend fails to respond, or circumstances shift unpredictably, notice the facts. A message is delayed, silence persists, plans change. Then separate that neutral observation from the story you tell yourself about it. The event itself is neither judge nor jury. It simply is the interpretation you layer onto it. They don't believe in me. The universe is against me. I must not be enough. Gives it the power to derail your assumption. Practice witnessing reality as data rather than verdict. In doing so, you maintain your inner stance while remaining clear-eyed about the conditions you face. Next, reinforce your assumed state through immediate inner action. The moment you detect a contradiction, perhaps an echo of doubt in your mind, pause and reconnect with the image of fulfillment you have chosen. Close your eyes if possible and breathe into the embodiment of your goal as though it is already accomplished. Feel the sensations of victory, the steady rhythm of your heartbeat, the warmth of self-assurance in your chest, the lightness in your limb. Hold that feeling until it saturates your awareness, then carry it back into the external scene. By doing this consistently, you send a powerful keep-going signal to your subconscious, strengthening the neural pathways that support your vision and gradually overriding patterns of doubt. Refinement of your inner scene is also vital. Sometimes persistence falters not because of lack of will, but because the mental picture is vague or incomplete. When outer events challenge you, use those moments as feedback to enrich your visualization. Notice which details seem weakest, perhaps the sense of interaction with supportive people, the tangible markers of success, or the emotional texture of your fulfilled state. Return to your inner workshop and infuse those areas with clarity. See faces lighting up in genuine admiration. Hear words of genuine encouragement. Feel the texture of objects that signify accomplishment. The more robust and precise your vision, the more resilient it becomes when tested by reality. Language is another powerful ally. Armed with simple affirmations that encapsulate your assumed reality, you can swiftly counter waves of uncertainty. Create concise phrases that affirm your unshakable stance, such as, "I remain fulfilled regardless of appearance," or "My inner vision shapes my world." Repeat these silently when outer events threaten to pull you off course. Spoken aloud in moments of crisis, perhaps in your car before a meeting or during a short break, your voice becomes a declaration that steadies your mind. Over time, these affirmations lodge in your subconscious as automatic refrains, interrupting patterns of doubt before they gain momentum. So, community support can bolster your persistence, but it must be chosen carefully. Surround yourself with individuals who respect and reinforce your inner work, rather than those who unconsciously echo your fears or skepticism. Share your vision in broad strokes. Focus on the feeling and the outcome rather than the process, and listen for responses that mirror your conviction. When someone affirms your assumption with genuine enthusiasm, it acts like a gentle breeze, strengthening the flame within you. Yet remember that true authority lies in your own mind. External support accelerates, but does not create your reality. Incorporate small rituals that symbolically affirm your commitment. You might wear a particular piece of jewelry as a totem of your assumed state. Touch it whenever contradiction arises to remind yourself of your vision, or write a brief note, just a sentence or two, that captures the essence of your fulfilled state, and place it where you'll encounter it daily, tucked in a book, beside your coffee maker, or on your bathroom mirror. Each encounter becomes a mini rehearsal of your assumption, gently realigning your focus and reinforcing your unwavering stance. Be prepared for tests of perseverance. The more meaningful the goal, the more intense the apparent resistance. It may manifest as recurring obstacles, frustrating delays, or internal voices begging for evidence. When these challenges peak, remember that persistence is the crucible in which your creative power is refined. Just as a blacksmith tempers steel through repeated cycles of heat and hammering, your commitment is strengthened through trials that threaten to break it. Stand firm, breathe deeply, and let each moment of tension be a signal that you are on the cusp of breakthrough. Above all, cultivate a sense of respectful detachment. While your inner work demands passion and intensity, it also benefits from a calm observer's perspective. View the journey as a scientific experiment. Your hypothesis is that your inner assumption will produce outer evidence, and each contradiction is simply data to guide your refinement. Approach challenges with curiosity rather than fear, and ask, what can I learn from this? This attitude prevents frustration from clouding your vision and preserves the lightness of heart essential to sustained creative practice. By persisting despite outer contradiction, you master the art of conscious creation. You move beyond the illusion that circumstances govern your destiny and embrace the profound truth that your inner reality is the architect of your experience. In the quiet certainty of your assumed state, you stand unshaken, like a lighthouse beacon shining through storms, guiding every aspect of your life toward the fulfillment you have claimed. And now, having walked through the workshop of your imagination, the vigilance of your inner dialogue, the practice of living in the end, the alchemy of emotion, the art of revising the past, the mastery of presence, the planting of seeds in sleep, and the steadfastness to persist, you stand poised at the threshold of true freedom. Know that every moment offers a fresh canvas, your imagination the brush, your feelings the paint, and your unwavering belief the guiding hand. Refuse to yield your power to another's words or actions. Embrace instead the radiant certainty of your own enoughness. Carry these practices into each day and night, and watch as the world you once sought from others unfolds effortlessly from the fertile soil of your own soul.